All right, Shalom. First off, I'm going to start out by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ruchakodash. Yahweh being the Heavenly Father's true name, Yahweh Shai being the name of His only begotten Son. Giving double honors unto the elders and the apostles, a great millstone who rule well and teach well. And peace, blessings, and salutations to all you walk Him throughout the four corners of the earth, continuing to push and do the works in truth and in sincerity. All right, this is the brother Masha, one of the men coming up under the branch out here in the morning camp. Me with a quick lesson through the Spirit. And it was inspired off of, pretty much through the Spirit and power, Bashim Rashad. It was inspired off of the elders and the apostles Saturday speaking. Pretty much they were going into Ezekiel 37 and, just pretty much breaking it down. And there was a few, notes I took. So thought I'd do a lesson on it, but pretty much going into how we've received the correct covering. All right, this is the one and only correct covering, to have, because Jake, like it says in Isaiah 30, let's start off with that. All right. Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 1. It says, "Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin." Okay. So these 2/3 out here, okay, they're that rebellious children that are not covering with the with the covering of the Lord, okay, which ultimately is this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that we've received, all right, through the Spirit and power of Bashim Yashai. You got 2/3 that are covering with these many different philosophies out here, okay, Christianity, all right, these different religions, you got a lot of jakes, trying to get into Muslim, saying they're Muslim. All right, which is which is just ignorant, and many other different things, That's that's them covering with the covering that's not a Yahweh Bashim Al Shah, right? But so let's get to start off in Ezekiel 37. Ezekiel 37 is starting at I'm gonna start at the top. Ezekiel 37:1. The hand of the Lord was upon me and carried me out in the spirit of the Lord and set me down in the midst of the valley which was full of bones, and caused me to pass by them round about. And behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. All right, and to get to the point, to prove what these bones are, this is Ezekiel 37:11. Then he said unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Behold, they say, our bones are dried, and our hope is lost. We are cut off for our parts. Okay, so this is a vision pretty much representing Jake, all right, being in a dead state. Okay. Verse 3, and he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Lord, power, thou knowest. Again he said unto me, prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. Right? Verse 5, thus saith the Lord power unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live, and I will lay sinews upon you, and will bring up flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and ye shall live, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. All right. So what? That's Jake receiving back their nationality, okay, and this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding ultimately, okay, which is the times that we're in. All right. Because, it was a certain time period, once again, that 3 days and a half that was prophesied, and brothers already know that timeline. But, for a new brother, that's pretty much going into the time period from 1619, all right, to the 70s, okay, 1970s, all right, pretty much that, roughly that, time period, pretty much about, or should I say roughly 350 years, all right, when a mass majority in bulk of Israel didn't know who they were. All right, that's Jake being in that dead state, right? But now, through the Spirit and power of Bashim Rashad, we received that covering, we received that skin, all right, which is this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and understanding your nationality and who you are. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 4. Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 5. So like, I'm gonna get Deuteronomy 7 first. Deuteronomy 7 and 4. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power. The Lord thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Right. And this is understanding, that skin, okay? Because ultimately, why? Being the nation of Israel, like it says in I believe in Psalms. Well, it is in Psalms, but I don't remember where it's what chapter it is, but pretty much quoting it. All right, it says, He showed His word unto Jacob, His laws, statutes, and commandments unto Israel. He had not dealt so with any nation. All right, so that's the relationship and that connection that the Lord has with the nation of Israel, right? For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power. The Lord thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth, right? And it's what? Deuteronomy 4 and verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my power commanded me, that ye should do so in the land, whether ye go to possess it, right? Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. All right, so this is that covering, okay? And what makes us a holy people unto the Lord, all right? Because when you go back to ultimately, going into, tying back into Ezekiel 37 is remembering the laws, the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of these scriptures, and remembering your nationality, right? Going back to Genesis chapter 3 and verse 21, just getting to the point, pretty much after Adam and Eve went off and transgressed, right? And what did the Lord have to do? This is Genesis chapter 3 and verse 21. And unto Adam also and to his wife did the Lord power make coats of skins and clothe them, right? So ultimately, what does that mean? The Lord, they had to receive their nationality again and understand the right way to live and to walk, all right? Because like it says in Second Ezra, let's get that real quick. Second Ezra chapter 3 and verse 4. O Lord, who bearest rule, thou spakest at the beginning, when thou didst plant the earth, and that thyself alone, and commandest the people, and gavest a body unto Adam without soul, which was the workmanship of thine hands, and didst breathe into him the breath of life, and he was made living before thee. And thou leddest him into paradise, which thy right hand hath planted, before ever the earth came forward. Verse 7 is the point. And unto him thou gavest commandment to love thy way, which he transgressed, and immediately thou appointest death in him, and in his generations, of whom came nations, tribes, people, and kindreds out of number. Okay, so Adam was commanded the right way to live, okay, being the way of righteousness, all right, Now, of course, these laws weren't written, before the time of Moses, but pretty much they were oral, but, pretty much that was the way of righteousness that he was supposed to live. It said he transgressed. What did he transgress? All right, this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding ultimately, right? That's why when we go back, verse 21, that's why the Lord had to what? And unto Adam also and to his wife did the Lord power make coats of skins and clothe them. So he had to cover them with the right covering again, all right? Which is the same process that is happening now, that has happened now, okay, in the times that we're in, right? Pretty much, we've received that covering, the right covering, all right? But you got 2/3 that are still covering and taking counsel with a covering that's not a Yahweh Bashim Shai, right? Let's get Job. Job chapter 29 In verse 14, it reads, I put on righteousness and it clothed me. My judgment was as a robe and a diadem. Right? So ultimately, the clothing that Jake is putting on is this righteousness, this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, all right, that we've received, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Rashad, along with what? Understanding your nationality and who you are, all right, being that skin and the sinews, because when you read ultimately, when you read in that Ezekiel 37, let's go to it real quick. Ezekiel 37 and verse we jumped on to verse 7 says, so I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied there was a noise, and behold a shaking, and the bones came together, bone to his bone. And when I beheld, lo, the sinews and the flesh came up upon them, and the skin covered them above, but there was no breath in them. Then said he unto me, prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, thus saith the Lord power, come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live. Right, but verse 8 says, the sinews and the flesh came up upon them, and the skin covered them, but there was no breath in them, right? Because ultimately, you got Jakes out here that, they have the skin, so they know their nationality, and they know their roots and what they really go back to, right? After being taught, ultimately through the elders and the apostles, a great millstone, right? But that breath isn't in him, Even when you look at like these other camps, they know they're Israel, They know the white man is the devil, Esau, Edom, but that breath, the full understanding, as the apostles were breaking it down, isn't in him, So that was pretty much the point, just going into, this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding being the ultimate and only correct covering to have, all right? Because Jake, and just pretty much understanding that we have the correct covering, and Lord's will endure unto the end, and keep that breath as well, But that's pretty much the point. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem Rakakodash, for putting the Spirit upon me to do this lesson. Giving double honor unto the elders and the apostles, a great millstone who rule well and teach well. And peace, blessings, and salutations to all you walk him, continuing to push and do the works in truth and in sincerity. With that, I'm going to say shalom.